Namaste. Thank you for joining me in this gentle practice today. Someone reached out to me and really enjoyed our Vini Yoga that we did last week. And Vini Yoga is one of, I don't know, it's one of my favorite styles of yoga, but I have a lot of favorite styles. It's something that is more about function over form. It's not as concerned about alignment or muscular engagement. And I want you to consider that our body is our vehicle in life. And just like we have to get regular oil changes in the car, and we need to actually run the vehicle so that the oil is lubricating the engine of the car to keep it running in an optimal way. If a car just sits around, it's going to collect rust, it might get stuck, it may not start. And the body is made to move. And our lifestyles have become more and more sedentary. And because of that, our bodies get stiff. And as we get older, if we don't continue to move, our body starts to feel stiff. And it's been shown and proven through science that movement can keep the body mobile and healthy and, again, optimal. Regular movement helps to lubricate the joints. And as we get older, we don't get as much life force or lubrication into those joints. Movement helps the cardiovascular system, it helps the muscular system, it helps the skeletal system, it helps organ health, and it helps, what I've already said, joint health. I don't know if you guys remember Gretchen Westhaven or Westhoven. Can't remember now. I think it was Westhaven. She was with us for a number of years. And she used to come in and say, "Motion is my lotion." And it's a catchy phrase, and I'll always think of her when I hear that phrase. But that's what I think about when I do Vini Yoga. Motion is my lotion, keeping everything lubricated. Even just walking 30 minutes a day can really help to decrease major health problems that may crop up. So maybe, if you're only doing yoga once, twice, 3 times a week, maybe just make sure you're getting out and walking or doing something. And the beautiful thing about yoga is it's low impact. So it's not harsh on the body. And because it's low impact, we can do it throughout our entire life. I actually visited a lady a few times. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was off of Cool Springs Boulevard. It's like a nursing home. I can't remember the name of it, but it's off the street, kind of closer to Macatcher. But I went there a few times. It was a woman who was bedbound. And I worked with her just to roll her wrist and just to do different things with her head and lifting her arms up and down and drawing a knee into the belly, rotating ankles, simple things that she could still do in bed so that she was still getting some movement. And I also did meditations and visualizations with her to help her mental health. So it's possible to continue this practice even if we're on our deathbed. So that's what I love about yoga. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to set up this frame here. I'm not planning on using any props, but of course, if you want something for Shavasana, add that into the equation. Let's get rolling. So we're going to start on our backs. So just lie down on the floor. Remembering your mat is your sacred ground. If your low back feels uncomfortable, you can always bend your knees. And the hands can rest on or off the body. Take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Remembering how nourishing the breath is for our bodies. The better we breathe, we can boost our immunity. When we breathe in a conscious, controlled way, we help to nourish the nerve roots, which can be calming for the nervous system. Controlled breath can help to slow the wheels of the mind down, so the brain doesn't feel like a freight train. The breath can remind us of the shell, this vehicle of body, and can help us to get more connected to it. Three more breaths to help you to center. And then on your next inhale, bend your knees. As you exhale, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Pick up your left foot and attach your hands together behind your left thigh. So you're in this eye of the needle pose. And we're going to do, just some gentle flowing movements. As you inhale, we'll start by stretching the left leg skyward. And as we exhale, we'll bend that left knee and hug in. Inhale, let go of the grip as you extend your left leg skyward. Exhale, grip and squeeze as that foot descends. All right, just gentle movement. Inhale, release the pressure with the hip so you can extend the left leg. And then exhale, you squeeze the left thigh in to open up that right hip in piriformis. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, straighten your left leg, point the toes, and start to rotate your ankle. Go counterclockwise at first, and then reverse and go clockwise next. Squeeze it in as you release the left foot. And then gently release your hand hold. Now uncross the right ankle, stack your knees right above your hips. Bring your arms in an A-frame position with your palms flipped downward. And you're going to roll the knees like a quarter or a third of the way off to your left side until you feel that little piriformis muscle, that tender spot in the buttocks. And you're just going to rock gently back and forth over that muscle. Two more times. Now, when you come to center, release the feet to the mat. Cross your left ankle over the right knee. Pick up the right foot. Tag your hands behind your right thigh. And then we'll work with straightening and bending the right leg. So as you inhale, extend your right leg skyward. As you exhale, bend that knee and gently pull in towards your upper body. All right, let go of the pull as you reach the right foot up. And as you exhale, gently squeeze in as the heel drops. Continue. One action on the in-breath. Another action on the out-breath. This time when you inhale, straighten the leg. Rotate the ankle counterclockwise first. And then reverse it. And go clockwise next. Now, go ahead and release the left ankle. Again, stacking the knees over the hips, palms down turned alongside your body. And this time, we'll roll towards the right piriformis. Sending the knees a quarter of the third of the way down to the right side. And if you're not feeling it, just, play a little bit with tucking the knees in or sending the knees away. You'll eventually find it if you continue to explore. And one side may feel way more tender than the other, so it may not be quite as pronounced. All right, when you bring your knees all the way back up, we're going to roll to the left side of the body. And when I say roll to the left side completely, and this is where you have to check in with your head. If your head and neck is already feeling uncomfortable, you may want a pillow, okay? So it's okay to have a pillow under your head at this point, or a stacked or folded blanket. Extend both arms, one palm resting on the other. And as you inhale, you're going to fan the right arm up and over to the other side. And as you exhale, that arm relifts and comes back to start. Inhaling and exhaling. Feel free to practice Mujaya Pranayama. Since this is a continuous flow with breath, that's where we constrict the back of the throat. And the breath sounds oceanic, like a whisper, like the wind, or a wave. This time when you inhale, fan open and hold. And as we explore these different postures today, just notice when, if, or where your body tends to get or feel stiff. Lately, that tends to be a common thing that I'm hearing from people. If I ask them how they're feeling, they say stiff. Maybe it's because the pandemic has slowed us down. Too much Netflix, maybe. Surf the wave of the breath as it rolls up and down the right side of the body. And maybe even affirming within new life, new energy. Now flood in and lubricate my being. Inhale, draw the knees to center. And take a moment just to hug the knees in. Papanasana. If you're ever feeling bloated or containing or have some trapped gas in your system, remember this pose. It's called wind release pose for a reason. All right, we're gonna roll to the right side of the body. And again, you can scoot or bring that pillow or blanket over under the head if need be. Stack your arms and hands. And as you inhale, slowly fan the left arm up and over to the opposite side of the body. And as you exhale, come back to where you began. And now flow with breath. Allowing the inhalation to open you up into the twist. The exhalation to carry you back into more of that side fetal type position. So is it your low back that is stiff? Is it the shoulder? Is it your neck? Pay attention. Sometimes we even get stuck and stubborn in the minds. Pause when you open into your twist. Deep breaths in and out through your nose. Firming here as you hold. New life, new energy now floods through my being. On your next inhale, let's just go ahead and turn the knees to center. Shift your hips if you need to, and clasp a hold of your knees. Wind release. Nice counter after the twist. Just to realign the vertebrae, to flatten the back to the floor, and to create more space in the low back. All right, land your feet and lift your buttocks off the floor so you can scoot and slide your hands below, and then you'll straighten your legs. Point your toes. As you inhale, lift your left leg only, single leg lift. Flex that foot and exhale, lower down, leading with the heel. And we're going to alternate sides. Point the right foot, soar that leg skyward. Exhale, flex the foot and lower it down, leading with the heel. We're going to go side to side, back and forth. Inhale, left leg on the rise. Exhale, dorsiflexion as you lower and land the foot. Right side next. Inhale. And exhale, release. Continue to alternate sides. We're pointing and flexing so that we engage different muscles on the way up as well as on the way down. One more to each side. We may be going at a different pace depending on your lung capacity, and that's okay. Now release your hands once both feet are down. Cup a hold of both knees, Papanasana. We're going to change up the flow here. So as you inhale, fan your arms wide, float your feet skyward and spread the toes. And as you exhale, hug the knees back into your chest. Inhale, arms sweep open and out to the sides as the legs reach up towards the heavens. And exhale, hug the knees back in, Papanasana. Continue this flow of movement. I love this particular flow because it's very, it feels very medicinal for the back. And I know it's helped me, and I know Bess Sawowski, who some of you may know, she loves this flow too for her back. Smooth, sailing breaths. And coordinating the movement with it. That's what creates a moving meditation, or a meditation in motion. Motion being our lotion. Last one. Now release the feet down to the ground. Arms alongside your body. Inhale, we're lifting up to Supta Bandhasana, pressing through the feet, lifting thighs, hips, abdomen, chest, arms sweep overhead. And then exhale, roll it down, contract the core, and curling like a cannonball, different than Apanasana because the head lifts up and we're contracting the rectus abdominis muscles at the center of our stomachs. Inhale, arms reach back, feet push down, tailbone tucks to lift. Exhale, roll it down, abdominal breath flow. This is our new coordinated movement. Now, one thing that I suggest when you're contracting and curling in, instead of just tugging on the knees, which can tug on the low back, just clasp your knees, scoop in the belly, and try to lift your head and shoulders more. Last one. Now, bring the feet down. Keep the hands beside your body. Press through the upper arms like you do your feet in order to rise. And just see if it's possible at this point. Can you tuck the shoulders under? Can you lace the hands together? Can you pretend you're squeezing a ball or block between your thighs? Puff the chest towards the chin. Keep your head motionless right now. Affirming as you hold, I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. On your out breath, release your hands apart. Roll it down one vertebra at a time. And then immediately lift the legs up. All right, I'm going to take my arms out wider just because it feels good across the chest. But you can really do anything with your arms for this flow because it's more about the legs. All right, this will be the inhale. Exhale is going to splay the legs wide open to Konasana. Inhale will draw the legs back together. And then exhale, we just flop the feet. Okay, we're not hugging the knees in. Inhale, re-extend the legs. Exhale, splay them wide apart. Inhale, draw the legs back together. And then exhale, just bend the knees, flop the feet down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slide apart. Inhale, draw back together. Exhale, bend the knees. 3 more. After your third, you can just go ahead and lower the feet to the floor. When the feet lower to the floor, clasp your hands underneath the occiput, the base of the skull. All right, your right foot is going to stay standing on the mat just like it is now. But as we exhale, we're going to let the left knee flare open, and we're going to roll to the outer edge of that foot. And then inhale, relift the knee, ground the left foot. Exhale, fan your right knee open like half butterfly. And then inhale, return to where you started. Good. We're just going back and forth. Left. And then right. Inhale, knee up. Exhale, rotate open from the hip. Inhale, knee up. Exhale, fan the other knee to the side. So if you're synchronizing with your breath and really paying attention to your breath, that's really where the magic comes in. Hopefully you can sense how therapeutic this style is. All right. Once you come back to center, we're going to roll over to one side and press into the hands to slowly come up. We're going to transition now into tabletop position. And when you come to tabletop position, resting on hands and knees, we're going to work towards puppy pose to Anahatasana. Puppy pose will be the inhale. So if you stretch the arms out in front of you like so, you'll keep your belly and ribs in, and you'll just bow your head down. Okay, so the front side of the body is, fairly engaged, and the shoulders are staying connected to the back. And then as you exhale, you can do a cleansing breath if you want, or you can continue the Mujaya Pranayama. You dip and melt the chest towards the floor as well as your chin so that you're really sinking into the shoulder joints. But we're going to keep it moving. So inhale, lift to puppy. Exhale, breathe it out to melting heart. Inhale, puppy. Exhale, melting heart. 2 more. Inhale. You're going to lower on to the top of your thighs, onto the pubic bone, sliding the forearms in front of you for Sphinx. Now push down through your forearms and allow your heart to really blossom up. And as you exhale, you're going to flex and lift your feet. Inhale, you point your toes, stretch the legs back. Exhale, flex the ankles, bending the knees and drawing the heels over them. Inhale. Exhale. It's like we're preparing for shark pose, but we're not actually going into it. One more. Now keep your heels up this time, and we're gonna spread the elbows wide and stack your hands, and you can just rest your chin or your brow on top. Neutralize the feet, and then you're just gonna swish the heels side to side. Windshield wipe, bring the feet back and forth. We'll come back to center, lower the feet down to the floor, slide your hands up underneath the shoulders, come to the third eye. Inhale, push up, and exhale, rock back, extended child's pose. Now we're gonna do a little bit of yoga flow here to work with the upper body. Inhale, rock up hands and knees. Exhale, dip down, half chaturanga. Inhale, press away from gravity. And exhale into extended child's. Continue that movement. Inhale, straightens the arms. Exhale, presses you back to child's. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale, build that strength when you drop and hover. Two more. Last one. And this time, hang out in child's pose. In child's pose, affirming, I release now from all outer involvements into my own inner haven of peace. Slide your hands out, rock up hands and knees, curl your toes, and launch into downward facing dog. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, press deep into your palms, shine up through your sits bones. Your next in-breath, carry your right leg skyward. Exhale, step the foot all the way through between the hands and look forward and out. Lighten your palms. Inhale, take the right leg out and up again. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, low lunge. Do that a couple more rounds. If this is too much for you, take an alternative of being on your knees, taking your right leg back, and trying to step it forward between the hands. And I'm demoing that now if you need an example. Inhale, right leg back. And exhale, step it through to half lunge, okay? So that's another way to do it. Return to downward facing dog or tabletop. And then we'll repeat that to the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, extend the left leg back. Exhale, foot steps through. Take your time. Just like we want a smooth breath, see if you can create smooth transitions from one pose to the next. Motion being our lotion. Last one. I switched it up. I went from the regular way to the modified way. All right, next time you step back down dog, let's travel the hands back towards the toes, land the heels, and bow over and down. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release. Let this be our new flow. Inhale, sprout up or come halfway up. Exhale, release. 3 more. Try not to rush it. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Continue. Feel how centering it is when we bring the palms together and down the midline. Now we'll add in the forward fold. Inhale up. Exhale, palms together and bow all the way down. Inhale up. Exhale, hands together. And fold to Uttanasana. 2 more. Last one. And this time, remain in Uttanasana. And affirming here as you hold. Nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I choose to stay mobile. Nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I choose to stay mobile. Inhale, coming all the way back up to the top. And then exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do a cloud salutation while we're standing. It involves a little bit of balance. As you inhale, we're lifting the arms and one knee. And as we exhale, bend the standing leg, tiptoe down, hands draw down the midline. Then we shift the weight, alternate sides. One more to each. Except I just realized I'm ending on the same one I started with, so I'm going to do one more. Feel free to join. Standing on both feet. Hands to prayer position at the heart. Salutations to the sun, to the awakening light within us all, and to the dawning of much higher awareness and consciousness in all beings. Relax the hands down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, lean to one side, Chandrasana. Inhale up to the top. Exhale, release the arm. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, come back. Exhale, release. Simple, gentle movements. Remember, there's an action with the inhale and a separate action with the exhale. Last one. Good. Bring hands to prayer position at the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we'll transition into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Longer sequence. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do one more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to add in a twist. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, turn to face the front. Exhale, separate the arms, rotate left. This is our new movement. One more to the left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. Inhale, step back, downward facing dog. Take 3 cleansing breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And if you want to pump the heels up on your inhale, you can sink them down on the exhale. Just to add in motion if you want it. And then we'll sink down to the knees. Final inversion is that down dog and child's pose. So take your child's pose with your arms wrapped around you, taking resonance on the brow. Centering and breathing. And when you're ready, press down through your hands and slowly come up to take a seat. I'm going to grab my bolster. So for this point in the practice, you have options. If you would like relaxation, line up for Shavasana. If you want more of a formal meditation, feel free to find a toss pillow, block, or bolster that you can sit, not directly on top, because if that's the case, the knees will be up. We scoot to the edge. So the knees have a chance to drop towards the floor. It may not touch like mine do, but that's okay. And it gives the pelvis a slight tilt forward, which makes it easier and a little bit more comfortable to sit. So again, feel free to lie down in corpse or align your spine for meditation. Maybe even slightly part your lips so that the interior part of your mouth and jaw can softly release. Close your eyes. Remembering that the last 3 steps on the 8-limb path are dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Dharana means concentration or concentrated effort. It's our focus. So part of our focus in our movement today was synchronizing breath with movement. Some of that dharana through the movement of our practice was based on our drishti, where our concentrated gaze was set. And now the dharana can be a couple different things. We could focus on bearing witness to the breath, rising and falling, coming and going. You could also set your inner drishti towards the third eye, the midpoint of your brow. If you want to use an affirmation or mantra, that also could be your concentrated efforts, using those words or that phrase as a constant on repeat to program the mind or to distill the mind of other thoughts. The concentrated effort we experience is the technique, it's the way to dhyana, a sustained concentrated effort, the sustained focus, or the meditation, being contemplative. And then samadhi is when we arrive. It's the peace, the contentment, the bliss, the state of wholeness and oneness. This is our practice now. Thread these together. Let one propel you to the next level. Continue your focus. Continue to breathe. If you need a longer period of time to relax or meditate, feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, with the sound of the mindfulness bell chiming, take time to reactivate a deeper, more diaphragmatic breath. Adding some movement here or there. If you're on your back, gently start to exit. Join me in sitting. Just noticing how your body feels. Noticing how it affected your mind. And then join your hands to prayer position at your heart. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Your body thanks you as well for giving it motion, for helping its internal systems. Your mind, your heart, your spirit is equally grateful for the time that you took in your schedule to take time for you and for your health and your well-being. Remember, when we take care of ourselves, we're in essence helping to take care of the whole, for we are part of the whole, and the whole is equally a part of us. Keep moving, keep breathing, and let motion be your motion for this day. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.